Hey, today's synopsis reviewing, I'm going to present a movie called Soldier Boy based on the true story of the youngest soldier of the Second World War, Sergei Alyoshkov, a 6-year-old hero. The movie begins in Russia, where a family of 3 is sitting by the river enjoying the weather. The youngest of them all, Sergei Alyoshkov, was bragging to his older brother and mother that he was at the top of a tree when suddenly German fighter planes flew over them. The mother told the children to hide in the bushes, but the 6-year-old boy claimed he wasn't afraid and hit the plane with a slingshot. To everyone's surprise, he managed to hit the jet and explode it. But when he looked around, his family was gone. Sergei woke up scared from the dream and called for his mother. At that moment, someone knocked on his door. Assuming it was his mother, he ran to her, but the neighbor panicked. She thanked God for keeping him alive and said his mother and brother were dead. The boy didn't understand what she was saying and wanted to stay at home waiting for his mother. The woman told him that the Germans had attacked them and that he should run away. At that moment, some soldiers approached their house. The woman made Sergei run through the window, but she was shot before she could join him. The 6-year-old child is now alone, without family or friends. When Sergei fled from home, he saw the entire neighborhood burning behind him. In vain, he called for his mother and ran away from there. After running for a while, he reached the middle of the forest. The boy got lost and started calling for his mother to come and find him. That night, he stayed in the jungle. We saw him drinking from the river the next morning when the enemy approached his path. Knowing they were dangerous, Sergei quickly hid in the tree roots. He was scared when a snake approached, but he didn't say a word and didn't run away. Sergei was more afraid of soldiers than snakes. The soldiers left after eating by the river, and Sergei took the leftover food and ate all night. However, by the end of the day, the boy was exhausted. "I haven't eaten well in the last 2 days, and I'm wandering aimlessly," he thought to himself. He stumbled and limped, but he didn't stop. Along the way, he saw berries and swallowed them, but then, an explosion behind him caught him off guard. The boy felt dizzy and began to hallucinate that someone was following him. However, even in this situation, he was brave enough to tell the man that he had a rifle and wasn't afraid. He limped forward, but eventually lost consciousness. He was sleeping when 2 soldiers approached him. The scene cuts to the Russian army base, where Commander Kuznetsov awaits his soldiers on patrol. They arrive with injured and weakened children. When the soldiers claim that they are on their side, the boy opens up and introduces himself. When the boy shook hands with the commander, the soldiers laughed, insinuating that he also introduced himself. The soldiers liked the boy and surrounded him. They gave him water and fed him. Even the relentless commander took care of the boy. A nurse named Katya tended to Sergei's wounds and was also drawn to his personality. The boy asked her to draw a tank on his wound because he wanted to be a soldier when he grew up. Even wounded soldiers could talk to the boys and feel comfortable. Sergei was fascinated by the commander's weapons and their variety. The commander also answered all the boys' questions and let him play with the honor pistol after removing the cartridges. Sergei showed him the tank painted on his belly and boasted of being a soldier. The boy recovered quickly. Nurse Katya begged the commander to let the boy stay in the camp, but he disagreed, claiming it is not safe there. He wants to send Sergei to an orphanage. The soldiers spent all their free time with Sergei. Many people visited him throughout the day. They brought him food from distant relatives and even let him play with the telescope. One day, a soldier went to the commander and begged him to let the boy stay in the camp. The soldiers had developed a strong bond with the boy and considered him their own. His presence took the weight of the war off their chests. However, the commander insisted on sending the boy to an orphanage for his own safety. The next day, the enemy attacked and many soldiers were injured. A car came to pick up Sergei and take him to the orphanage. The commander gave the news to the boy and gave him a wooden honor pistol. The boy hugged him back, claiming to fear for the commander's safety. The commander melted in his arms and changed his mind. He asked Sergei to stay with the soldier as his son. At night, the soldiers searched for the little soldier in the boy's uniform, and they hid in the caves so that Sergei could join them. The commander recognized Sergei and handed him the uniform. He puts them on and runs, looking like a true soldier. Others start referring to him as their little soldier.
While the boy is running, the enemies launch an aerial attack.
The number of wounded soldiers is increasing. The soldiers quickly transport Sergei to a safe location and fight with the enemy. The number of wounded soldiers continues to rapidly increase. Sergei wants to be useful again, so he takes water to the wounded soldiers. One of them asks him to read a letter sent by his family because he has a bandage on his eyes. The boy longs to help, but lacks the ability to decipher it. He takes the epistle and, not knowing what it says, begins to improvise, claiming that the soldier's cow is safe at his home.
When confronted by the soldier, who denies owning such an animal, the others present encourage him to persist in the plot and have fun.
Hey everyone! If you like the video, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Your participation is very important to us and helps keep the channel active and produce more amazing content for you. We really appreciate it. He reads all the letters in the same way, spreading cheer among everyone.
In the next scene, we glimpse Katya and the commander in dialogue.
The mutual attraction is evident, but both suppress their feelings. Later, Sergei introduces himself to the commander as the battalion's orderly. However, the boy witnesses one of the soldiers' stations being targeted and destroyed. The commander instructs him to take off his hat in honor of the fallen soldier. The next day, he persists in asking the commander for a task and is assigned to distribute the correspondence to the soldiers. He completes the mission efficiently and even manages to get the soldiers to dance for him.
The next morning, Sergei moves away from the base with his binoculars.
While having fun with the device, he notices a leg movement coming from inside a haystack. He runs back to the battalion and reports his findings to the soldiers.
They are skeptical but decide to accompany him anyway.
As they approach the haystack, they are alerted to the presence of 2 German spies hidden inside. The spies are captured and the boy is acclaimed for his astuteness. That night, the commander reveals to Sergei the documents attesting to his legal adoption. Now, he is officially the commander's son. Sergei is aware of the commander's affections for Katya and, in gratitude, decides to help him confess his feelings to her. However, the two witness Katya talking to another man and mistakenly presume that she is interested in someone else.
The base is attacked again by the Germans.
This time, Sergei contributes all his strength to help the soldiers, providing ammunition to those on the front line, but they send him back to the shed, considering it too risky to stay outside. Upon arriving at the shed, he finds the commander and other soldiers in a panic, as the phone connection with the colonel has been interrupted. A soldier is sent to repair the broken wires and Sergei follows him, discovering that the soldier is gravely wounded. He asks the dying man how he can fix the wires and does it alone. The connection is restored and more troops are called to help. The 6-year-old boy becomes the hero of the day, saving everyone's lives.
In a later scene, we see the commander and Katya having a conversation by the river.
Finally, the commander confesses and reveals his feelings for her, asking her to become Sergei's mother. Katya is ecstatic, but before she can answer, a soldier appears and delivers a letter to the commander, informing him that they have been ordered to leave the base. The next day, all the soldiers leave for the new base, accompanied by Sergei. However, during the journey, they come across a minefield that causes some of their vehicles to explode. The commander is injured, while the orderly, who was next to Sergei, dies in the explosion. The boy cries and embraces the commander. As they arrive at the new base, they take the wounded with them and continue on with their journey. Upon meeting the commander's leader, the general, he praises the intelligence of the boy and congratulates the commander for having such a clever son.
The next day, their division receives the flag of the guard, just like Sergei. He promises to defend his country as soon as the general grants him a plot of land. On a fateful night, the base is brutally attacked and the commander is trapped under the rubble.
Sergei cries for his father and tries to save him, calling the attention of the other soldiers to help. Finally, they manage to bring the commander out. The next day, Sergei approaches another wounded commander, his hands injured while trying to save the commander. The boy is now an inseparable part of the team. The protagonist has no parents to rely on and follows the regime during the war. The story ends when the group is seen moving to a new base. An off-screen voice narrates that the boy fought in the Battle of Stalingrad and accompanied the soldiers to Poland. He is now recognized as the youngest soldier in the world, and his legendary story of courage is known all over the world.